Good morning everyone, and welcome to the top of the desert, or at least the top of this little slice of the desert. The sun is just coming up. I was up here on top of this little hill here for sunrise, and let me show you where I am. This is Quartzsite, Arizona. You can see the shadow of the little hill that I'm on. I'm right at the point of the shadow there. And this is a little town in western Arizona. This is Interstate 10, I-10 running through it. The town is about halfway between Phoenix and the LA area. It sees a lot of traffic, at least a lot of people coming through here, especially this time of year. This is winter, and you can see out here, this is basically snowbird heaven. There are thousands and thousands of RVs parked in the desert out here. I mean, do you see all these little white specks out here? And then we have a cool old mine right here, which I've never seen before. And I'm parked over on the other side in the shadow right here. And this is the summit of the little hill here. So this is called Q Mountain because there's a big Q on the side of the mountain. You can see the oval part, the circle right there, and then the little dash at the bottom of the Q. That's a popular little hike at sunrise, more popular than I thought it would be. There was one guy up there when I got up there, and then as I was leaving, another person and her dog, the lady and her dog, came up. Neat little spot though. Nice spot to watch the sunrise. Great spot to get a view of the entire area here. And the theme of today's adventures is to find and show you guys some kind of obscure and little known areas, and some are, are better known than others, but show you guys some of the things to see and do in this area that millions of people pass by every year. Thousands and thousands of people go through here every day on the interstate, and there's really nothing much out here for like hours in any direction. So if you do find yourself stopping here in this area, whether you're just on your way to somewhere else or if you're a snowbird, you come here for the winter, this will give you some ideas of some interesting things to see and do in the area. And it is a Saturday today, so this area is even busier than it normally is. So I'm guessing we're going to be seeing other people at the sites we're going to be visiting. Usually I like to have a place all to myself, but that's not always possible, so we'll do the best we can here today. Also, that is the little hill that I just climbed up. That is Q Mountain. And the next spot I wanted to go see is just I think less than a mile over on dirt roads over to the west here. Well, that didn't take long. Turns out this spot is only about a quarter mile from where I just was. In fact, you can see the mountain. You can see Q Mountain very clearly right there. So this is a Native American site. It's called an Intaglio, and the most famous of these in this general region is called the Blythe Intaglio, or the Blythe Intaglios, which are kind of nearby here, and they're kind of they're called geoglyphs. They're, instead of like petroglyphs, which are Native American inscriptions in the rock, these are scrapings in the earth, basically. This section has been fenced off here, so you can drive to that point, and then there's a little path that leads around here. And this is the one that's easiest to see. It's a little arrow, or at least that's what it looks like. And then there's this, not sure what that is. And then this, not sure what this is. And these are made essentially by doing this, by removing the top layer of rocks out here, this dark layer of rocks, to reveal the lighter earth, the sandy ground underneath. Let's pull out the drone to get an aerial view, to get a bird's eye view of this thing. So what do you think? The arrow there was pretty clear, and then what do you make of the other figures there? I'll put a static image on the screen here to give you a little bit more time to look, see if you can examine it a little bit closer, and let me know your thoughts. What do the other figures represent? And today isn't going to be all Native American sites, but there are several of them in this area, and we're actually going to go see another one now, further to the south here. Getting there is going to be a little bit convoluted from here. Getting here was a little bit convoluted. Some of the roads that I thought would lead here didn't, but anyway, I'm going to get back over there, and I'll meet back up with you when we're at the next Native American site. I'm now at the edge of a broad, dry wash here. This is called Tyson Wash. This is the main wash that runs through Quartzsite. I'm south of town, parked right here, and somewhere over here, I think it's on these rocks, is some rock art, some Native American rock art. I've never been here, so let's explore a little bit, see what we can find. Not seeing the rock art. It might be higher up, or it might be on the outcrop across the way, across the wash here, but there is something of interest to us on top of these rocks, I think. Here we go. These are Native American grinding holes. How deep is this? Oh, yeah, that's 5 inches deep. Cold water. Got some others over here. So these, of course, were used by Native Americans to grind up things like corn and seeds and nuts and beans or whatever. This one is super deep. I mean, this is a foot deep at least. That must have been in use for a long time, years and years and years and years to go through this rock like that. Let's see if there are any more on top of the outcropping over there. There don't seem to be any others over here, and I'm not seeing any rock art either. Let's go back across the way over to these rocks over here. See if we can find anything else over there. I know there are, at least I'm pretty sure there are petroglyphs somewhere around here. Let's explore, let's wander around a little bit more. Okay, yeah, I see a couple of spots here. There's a spot over here, a spot over here. Let's check out this one closer to ground level first. They're not super distinct, but you can see some over on this panel here, on this face here, and then over here, along with some more modern additions. Maybe there's some other stuff down here, I don't know. Hard to tell. Oh, here we go. So I was looking at this stuff down here, thinking I think there's more to this place. Where's the other rock art? Sure enough, just above it, right there. Let me go get my other lens. Let me put a different lens on my camera here so I can zoom in for you guys. Because that's kind of high off the ground. That's probably, I don't know, a dozen feet off the ground here. Here we go, much better. There are a lot of figures all across this rock here. There are some, these are the most prominent ones, but there's some above there too. And then below, and over to the side, and over on the far left side of the cliff. There's this one, that's interesting. It kind of follows the contour of that plate of rock right there. And then over on the far right side we have, again, in addition to the more modern graffiti, we have some like a snake or some water on the left side there, and then on the far right, I think this is the panel on the farthest to the right. We have whatever this is. And that just about covers the whole thing. And these are called the Tyson Wash petroglyphs, by the way. And we are now back in the town of Quartzsite in the city here, and I want to show you what is probably the most visited, the most well-known tourist attraction in town here. This is the tomb of High Jolly. This is High Jolly's tomb, And there's a plaque here. It says the last camp of High Jolly. And there's a camel on top, and camels are a symbol of Quartzsite, and that'll make sense in a minute here as I explain what exactly this is. But first, this monument itself is made up of various rocks. Looks like you've got some volcanic, like basalt or something down there, then some, some quartz stuff right there, and then petrified wood is all of this layer right here. Isn't that neat? So the name High Jolly comes from his name Haji Ali. Haji Ali, High Jolly, also known as Philip Tedrow, and he was a Greek born in Syria. And he was a camel driver, so the US government wanted to try out camels in this terrain and see if they could be used as beasts of burden, kind of like mules were at the time. And so someone was sent out to the Mediterranean, and they gathered a bunch of camels, like 70 camels in all, and recruited several camel drivers, and Haji Ali, or High Jolly, was one of those. And the Camel Corps, as it was called, crossed the deserts of New Mexico and Arizona. They went from, I think, Texas to the Colorado River and then California. So they crossed the desert here, proving that the camels could withstand the elements here, and they were good beasts of burden. But they apparently scared the mules and the other animals they had. And also, this was in the 1850s and 60s. And the camel experiment came to an unceremonious end at the start of the Civil War. The government decided not to put money toward more camel research, but instead, all that money went to the war, and so the camels were sold at auction. And after that, our friend High Jolly stayed in the Southwest. He was a miner and a scout for the military, and eventually he died here in Quartzsite and is buried under here. The people of Quartzsite and his friends built this in his honor soon after he died. And I think this little thing here actually has the ashes of his last remaining camel and a couple of his other personal effects. So, interesting little spot. This is about, 8 or 9 feet tall, I'd say, this pyramid. And like I said, because of him, because of that, because of the Camel Corps, camels are a symbol of Quartzsite. And while I was here the other day, so I was here in town in Quartzsite about a week ago, and I was driving around, I went to a bookstore, and next to the bookstore I saw something very interesting that had to do with camels. They open in about 20 minutes. Let's go head over there and I'll tell you what I mean. So, this place offers camel rides. They're $15. I think you basically just get on the camel, ride in a circle, and that's it, but I want to do it anyway. Feels like a very Quartzsite thing to do, again, with the whole camel theme. I've never seen this here before in years past. I've been to Quartzsite 3-4 years in a row, something like that, and I didn't know about this the last time I was here. I don't know if they were here the last time I was here, so let's give it a shot. I'm recording on the GoPro here, so sorry if the quality isn't that great, but the camels are over here. We have this little enclosure here, some steps to get up to the camels. There's a climbing wall here, and there's a little swap meet or something over here, but the camels are what I'm interested in.
It's time to go to work. Alrighty.
Alright, there's the ticket.
Yep, perfect. You're gonna sit right here in the back.
Okay.
Right leg over, straddle it just like you would a horse. Perfect. And you're off and walking.
Alright.
Enjoy your ride.
Thanks.
We're gonna have
well, I'm waiting for you because
That is bumpy.
Wow, it kind of feels like a boat, huh?
Yeah, it does actually. So how old is this camel, do you know?
Yeah, he's 11 years old.
11. How long do they live to?
Late 30s, early 40s.
Okay.
He's just a youngin'.
Yeah. So is this one fully grown?
Yeah. They're fully grown, their bones are fully developed at age of 8.
Okay. This is great.
Yeah.
and 2 feeding.
Likes to take all the attention.
Oh.
I'm gonna have you pick up your left foot coming into the stuff so you don't sneak it right here.
Okay.
Perfect. Welcome back. What'd you think?
That was great.
Good.
That was fun. All right, thanks guys.
You're very welcome.
Have a good one.
You too.
Oh, I suppose it's my turn, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, you're up. Well, that was actually a lot of fun. We did two laps, 2 circuits of the little paddock there, and yeah, it was fun. And I was talking to the guy, the proprietor of the Camel operation. He runs a company called, I think it was Pacific Northwest Camel Company. He has 8 camels. He's based in Oregon. He travels around the country, goes to fairs and things like that to offer camel rides. He said that Christmas is a very busy time for him because people are doing nativities and they want a real camel for their manger scene, and just very interesting. It's always fun to learn of new ways that people are making a living, right? And as for the camel ride itself, that was awesome. I had a great time, and it was very bumpy. Definitely, rocking back and forth, lots of that. The camel itself was wider, and like that makes sense, but like my legs aren't used to going around such a wide thing, I'm used to like riding a bike or something like that, but a camel is much wider than that, even than a motorcycle, and so that was kind of novel for me. And the camel was cute. I liked the camel. Seemed very nice. The proprietor guy was saying that the camels really like the exercise. They like people, and so they seemed to be having a good time too. And then another reason I wanted to ride the camels was that I just finished listening to an audiobook called Skeletons on the Sahara. It's a narrative nonfiction book about a shipwreck in the early 1800s off the western coast of Africa, and then the survivors were captured and they were used as slaves until they were finally sold to, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but camels were heavily involved in that story. And so I thought, you know what? I do want to ride a camel. And so I did, and had a great time. I'll put a link down to that book if you're interested. There are 2 more things that I want to see here in the Quartzsite area. We're just churning through the morning here. It's still pretty early. It's actually not even 11 o'clock yet. But there are 2 more things that I want to see. The first one is pretty close to us. They're actually both pretty close to us here, but like another 2-minute drive down the road is the first thing that I want to see. And then we'll get out and we'll explore a little bit. So this here, our penultimate stop today as far as our tour of things around Quartzsite goes. I've seen this called a couple of different things. I've seen it called the Quartzsite alignment, and I've seen it called the Lost Pilot sign. And it's the word Quartzsite spelled out, each letter spelled out using rocks just out on the desert floor here. So starting on the left here, we have Q, U, A, and then it continues RTZSITE. And again, I've heard 2 conflicting reasons as to why this is here. One is that this was used for training during World War II, for the pilots to be able to find their way, for the inexperienced pilots to find their way back to Quartzsite, because this is in alignment with Quartzsite. And then the other thing I read is that this is actually older than that. This dates back to the 1930s, like the early 30s, and that this was used as kind of a navigational aid for pilots delivering the mail between cities here. And so, again, we have the word Quartzsite behind me here, and then there's a circle, Quartzsite, circle, and then an arrow, and then a couple of parallel lines. And it looks like there's something else over here. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's a compass. This is a capital N with an arrow pointing to the north. Huh. And these used to be painted white, so back in the day they would have been much easier to see against the, the brown desert pavement here. And you can still see some of the white paint on here. Like this, has a little bit left on it. But once again, this is something that I think will be best viewed from the air as it was intended. So let's get the drone out and see what this looks like from above. And And then for the final stop of the day, as far as the Quartzsite area attractions are concerned, I parked back there along the highway, and then we have like a 5-minute walk to the thing that I want to see. Now, I have been to this one before. I think this is the only one of the ones today that I've been to before, except from the apart from the High Jolly tomb. I have been there before, but everything else has been new to me, so that's been fun. But this one, this is neat, and this is another Native American site, another archaeological site. And it's definitely worth the short walk from the road. So here we have another enclosure, kind of like what we saw this morning around that first Intaglio. And this is another one of those, another geoglyph. This one is called the Bouse Fisherman. And there's a nice sign here, and this is what it looks like. So there's a guy with a spear, and there's some fish down below him in the sun. Maybe a bird or a cloud or something up there. And from back there, from that first little initial enclosure, you walk a little bit further and then you see the enclosure around the actual image itself. And here we are at the base of it. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. I will fly the drone yet again to get an aerial view of this one. But this the sign here talks about how there was actually a Native American story of a god named Kumastamo, where he took his spear and he threw it at the ground, and the Colorado River issued forth, sprung out of the ground where he speared the ground. So they think that this might be an illustration of that story. But from the ground here, you can still see it pretty well. I mean, this is one leg here, the other leg is here, this is down. Torso, head, and his spear point is very visible because that's made out of a white rock, a lighter colored rock. And then his leg comes down to the ground. This is the ground. And then below that, we have the fish. The fish are kind of hard to see, but you can see one kind of oval right here. That's the right fish. One oval over there, that's the left fish. So anyway, let's fly the drone. And a couple other people are here. They were actually flying their drone to get a picture of it from above, so let's do the same thing. Good afternoon, everyone. It is just after sunset, and it's several hours later, and I'm several hours away from Quartzsite now. I'm actually only about an hour and a half from Las Vegas. Really pretty area here, pretty campsite. After finishing up in Quartzsite, I went to Parker, which is the next town to the north of Quartzsite. Got some dinner, got some well, I guess it was lunch at the time. It was still pretty early in the day. Got some Indian food at a place called Dee's Curry, I think. And it was decent. Then I went to Walmart to get a couple things, and then I drove north 2.5 hours, and here we are. And this place, I think I'm gonna have to explore here, maybe tomorrow or maybe on another trip. Explore this area, this mountain range. I'm intrigued, but anyway, that's another adventure for another day and another video. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit of, whoa, just tripped there. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit of Quartzsite, a little kind of a gem out in the desert. Well, Quartzsite itself is okay. I don't think Quartzsite itself is a gem, but the things around Quartzsite, those are the real gems. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what other things I should see and do there the next time I'm in Quartzsite. I know of several other things that are already on my list for the next time I'm there, so let me know and I'll add your suggestions to the list also, and we'll make another video about it in a year or two. Thanks again, I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.